Hello again, everyone. It's Adam here from London Music Tours, and this is My Back Pages. Welcome. Thank you for joining me again. On this episode of My Back Pages, the Music Book Club, we're going to be looking at the early 1970s part work, The Story of Pop. In this episode of My Back Pages, you're going to have to do a little bit of digging. You're going to have to explore the four corners of eBay. You're going to have to go raking in the basements of your local second-hand bookstores. No bad thing. This is no easy click the button on Amazon affair. You're looking for an early 1970s part work published here in the UK, called The Story of Pop. First things first, millennials, what on earth is a part work? A part work is a magazine published in weekly parts. You collect each issue of the magazine. You send away for binders to hold these magazines, and over the weeks it builds up into a set of encyclopedias. They were very big in the 1970s. The downside was you ended up paying hundreds upon hundreds of pounds for a tuppence halfpenny book. Worth it in this instance. The Story of Pop holds a sentimental place in my heart, given that these books were the first books I ever came across that exposed the deep roots of the history of my beloved music. The year is 1973. The Beatles are no more. David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust has been released just a year earlier, and top of the hit parade is Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree. Pop music seems to be looking back to its 1950s roots, and maybe that infuses the ethos of the book, The Story of Pop. It's time to take a pause. How do we move forward from such a colossal story as the Beatles? Maybe we take a breath. Maybe we look back. Maybe this is the moment to allow the dust to clear and see exactly where we are in the story of pop. The original print run for The Story of Pop was 26 weekly parts. Such was its popularity that it doubled in size, hitting 52 weekly parts held in 4 black binders with gold writing. The cost of all 4 volumes in 1973 would have been a princely £13. Keep in mind that the average wage was around £40 a week. You really were paying a fortune for a set of books. But what good books. The ethos, the original idea behind the whole affair, was to compile a definitive encyclopedia of post-Elvis pop music. These days in the 21st century, of course, it's no such thing. Time moved on. And so there's no punk, there's no disco, there's no hip-hop, there's no Britpop, there's no new wave of British heavy metal, there's no grunge. Having said that, it still has a number of great strengths, and it's a book that I come back to time and time again, even still to this day, to check a few details. The Story of Pop's greatest strength is in its deep history. It is within these pages where I first read of jazz, of minstrelsy, of blues, of country, of all the parent musics of our modern pop and rock. Gospel, soul, rock and roll. All the genres, all the roots musics are dissected in a series of fascinating, edifying essays. It's a book as much about social history as it is about music. It also takes a very serious look at pop culture. Perhaps it was in the vanguard of such publications to look at the tribes of pop music, the mods, the rockers, the skinheads, and to look at their backgrounds, and to really take them seriously as cultural phenomena. If you are going to be looking on eBay for individual copies of the magazine, they change hands these days for around £2.50 per copy. If you're looking for a fully bound set, well, the prices vary there. I've seen full sets offered for as little as £10, but I've also seen them go for more than £100. So you'll need a little bit of luck if you're looking for a bargain. Now, that is going to be beyond a great many budgets, but if you were looking for a handy, a short, concise, expert and deeply passionate introduction to the musics that make our music, well, you can do no better. It's worth the investment. Maybe I'm saying that because it is a sentimental journey for me. This is where I come in. I went on to play a bit of music, to write about music, and these days lead musical-themed walking tours. So this is where I come in, and to borrow from John Lennon, and now it's all this. So it's a book that I'm very passionate about. Good luck out there, everyone. Good luck searching your local second-hand store for The Story of Pop, published in 1973. Well, that was My Back Pages. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this week's selection. I hope you have fun rummaging the second-hand shops to find copies. This has been My Back Pages. Keep in touch. There are the details there. Join me on the socials. Come and see me on a virtual tour. Join me on a walking tour out and about on the streets of London. I'll see you next time.